My name is Martin Rowe. I'm pointing at myself, just to be sure, and I'm a trustee of Greenbelt. And this is me talking to James Wood.
Hello.
Who is a writer for the television and a very funny man. And amongst other things, he has written Revd, which is why we're here today.
Yes.
So James, let me ask you first of all, 3 words which capture your brief experience of Greenbelt this weekend.
3 words to sum up my first Greenbelt. I would say it's been overwhelming, friendly, and green. It is literally green. It's sunny green, green in all its meanings.
Very good. I like it. And now, what would Rev do if Rev found himself camping at Greenbelt for the weekend?
With Alex in his tent.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, the Revd Adam Smallbone, he would love it here. The main thing that would happen is he'd get overexcited and run around a lot and try and see too much and get a bit tired and cross by the end of the day, which is a bit like what I did, really. He'd also make friends, sometimes wisely, sometimes unwisely. He'd get drunk, he'd embarrass himself, he'd end up annoying his wife, and then he'd repeat it the next day. And then the day after that, it a kind of increasing scale of grimness. So by the end, he'd have some horrible hangover, but be feeling puffed with love and friendship.
So he would be representative of a certain...
Most of the people here.
I wasn't going to say that, but
yeah.
Yes, so we certainly have Greenbelters like that.
Yes.
And excellent that we do.
Yes.
Now, of course, the thing with Greenbelt is odd in that it's on a grand scale. There's 20,000 people here. They're all following some story of faith. They think there's something in it. And the setting for Rev, of course, is an institution in decline with some committed, devout, sincere people wondering sometimes what on earth they're up to, how you make faith work, what's it all about. Can you kind of see any overlaps between Greenbelt and the world of Rev?
I can, yeah. I mean, in the broad sweeps that you're saying, yes, is that there's people here who are clearly Christian or faith inclined and are questioning and are trying to lead good lives, like many of Adam's congregants are, and Adam himself. Of course, people often fail, which is where the drama and the comedy comes from in the show. But Adam's basic sort of priestly characteristics, vicar-like characteristics of those virtues that the church are meant to represent, of forgiveness, and openness, and patience. I think most of the people here are trying to follow those values in their lives, and perhaps not being too beating themselves up too much if on occasion they fail, because there seems to be also a kind of willingness to at least understand and embrace human weakness, whilst at the same time trying to remove it. If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. Did you find making it, because you were saying when you were interviewed last night that you met lots of clergy?
Yes. And
you did a lot of research and you dug deep. Did you find yourself with a kind of a sense of admiration or a sense of a new kind of understanding for the work of lots of these women and men who often are stereotyped in the media and often find life a bit tough, and as you mentioned in the show, often they're the only professional, for example, in their little community, and there's an awful lot demanded of them. People
say the show has enormous sort of sympathy for the church, which was not our intention setting out. We were setting out to do an authentic picture of the church in London, particularly, and we didn't set out to be sympathetic. But if you spend a year with a variety of vicars, you end up being sympathetic, because for me it was a revelation to see the extraordinary varied groups of people vicars, the clergy deal with, perhaps more so than any other professional vocation I can think of. Often people from hugely disparate backgrounds and from the top to bottom of society, often in emotional extremes, and to see people struggling with their own sense of faith and helping others is inspiring. They also bitch a lot. They're quite often lunatics. So that was all quite entertaining and all kind of, I think, led to making the show work when it was at its best. All those things were sort of colliding because, of course, vicars are also human, so they can be vain, weak, ambitious, and proud. But they're aware of that, and they're trying to correct those things, and that's inherently appealing and funny and interesting, I think.
Brilliant. That's it. Thank you very much. That was great.